Hi guys, we're Nights. I'm Ray.
I'm Julien.
And here we are watching and reacting to another video on YouTube that we've been told to check out. This is called BOATLIFT, an Untold Tale of 9/11 Resilience. This apparently takes place during 9/11. It's like one of these untold stories of things that happened during that particular day.
Gotcha.
Being a New Yorker, I it's hard for me to watch some of these videos sometimes. I'll watch them, but I usually it gets me messed up because it's my hometown, and every time I see something like that, or at least referring to 9/11, it really I get angry. It rekindles this anger I have in me about what happened. That particular day,
I'm grateful enough that I've never had any family lost in 9/11, at least that I know of. But I've had many friends being from Jersey that have told me that they've had family in 9/11 that they've lost or that have been saved or whatever. Like I had a teacher who her husband was in the tower when it went down, and he was one of the very few lucky souls to actually make it out. So
my mom had a friend. Mom still has a friend who she lost her daughter in the towers.
That's heavy.
I remember my mom telling me that apparently the story goes where everybody in her office got out except for her. She was the one who didn't make it from her job.
Wow.
Then I had two brothers. I still have two brothers who work in the city at that time. One of them was pretty far away from the situation that took place, but he got stuck on the island. Like, it was hard to get off.
Jesus.
And phone calls in and out wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And then my other brother, who works, I think a block or two from the Twin Towers, he called out sick that day.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
He was home that day.
I had a.
He did not go to work, and I was like, yeah, wow, this is what are the chances of being out. So
I had a friend whose dad, his brother was on the third plane, the one that went down in a field. He actually got the call from the brother saying, listen, they took over the plane and whatnot, and he was hearing everything going on, and they never recovered his body, but I remember him recounting me the story, and it was honestly so tragic, but I don't know, it was such a tragedy.
Awful day here in America, and again, being a New Yorker, it hurts. But anyway, this video here is called BOATLIFT, an Untold Tale of 9/11 Resilience. Let's check this out.
Yeah.
I thought I was watching a movie, Towering Inferno at first. And then I looked real close, and I noticed it was the World Trade Center. I was compelled because I'm a type of person that can't stand by and watch other people suffer. And to me, they were suffering. They wanted to get off the island. And there was no way for them to get off the island other than the water. And I had noticed when I was watching the television, I saw a lot of, the ferries going up into the slips and taking people off. I said, fine, we could do the same thing. I could take people on my boat, get in there, take them where they have to go. And that's what we did.
That's something, bro. Even this shot here just angers me, bro. BOATLIFT.
On the morning of September 11th,
Tom Hanks,
when the towers came down,
Yeah, that sounds like it.
millions of people ran for safety. Hundreds of thousands of them ran south to the water's edge. That's when they realized
That dust
Manhattan
cloud.
is indeed an island, and that they were trapped.
They were feeling helpless. And that's the worst feeling in the world. What was a person on the ground going to do? Buildings were down. There were people laying under the rubble of the building. Firemen, civilians. My wife was there, and I turned around. I says, I've got to go do something. Just like that. And she looked at me. She says, what are you going to do, you maniac? I says, I'm going to take the amberjack up into the city and help. She says, but what if they're attacked again? I says, well, then that's something I have to live with. I says, I have to do what I have to do. I says, and nobody can stop me right now. Even if I save one person or I rescue one person, that's one person less that will suffer and die.
Wow. Wow, brother.
Yeah.
That's what? Why heroism?
They were trying to evacuate Manhattan because nobody knew what was going on. You know, you didn't know if something else was going to happen. It was just you know, a madness on one side and, you know, and wanting to help people on the other side.
They were just streaming out of the buildings, and the first mode of transportation they saw was a ferry boat.
Look
That's
at
when they
this.
knew, this is how I'm getting out of here. So they didn't even care where the boat was going.
There wasn't panic in New York in the beginning, just volume. It wasn't until the first building fell that there was panic.
You heard the building go down, but we're in the slip, so we can't see it. That's when we started letting go, and then all of a sudden, whoop, engulfed. You couldn't see anything.
People were actually jumping into the river and swimming out of Manhattan.
That's
Boats
crazy.
very nearly running them over.
You know how big that the river is and cold?
These people wanted out of Manhattan no matter any way they could.
Somebody wants you to go over there.
Every mode of transportation out of Manhattan was shut down. All the subways were shut. The tunnels were all closed. They closed the bridges, they closed everything immediately.
Boats, usually an afterthought in most New Yorkers' minds, were for the first time in over a century the only way in or out of Lower Manhattan.
The process that actually had already started. There were some boats that were grabbing people, that people were lined up at the walls.
On the left, on the left, on the left.
It's just human nature. You see people in distress on the seawall in Manhattan begging you to pick them up. You have to pick them up.
They didn't know what was going on. They seen the building getting hit with these two planes. As far as they was concerned, you know, we were being bombed. I was wondering if they were going to come on the boat, if they had people with bombs, or if they were going to come on. We're a big orange target in the middle of that harbor. My job is to keep the boat safe, my passengers safe, my crew safe.
Everybody was in shock, running around. They didn't want to leave their families. They had loved ones running around the city.
Everybody has a baby. Nobody has it.
There was one guy ran from the apron and jumped onto the boat. He grabbed onto the metal, climbed up right next to the pilot. So I'm going out there to say something to him. He slides down to the next deck. So the deckhands get him and go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm jumping for my life. So, you know, you couldn't argue with him there.
Damn.
There was a small boat that was at the lower tip of Manhattan. I thought the boat was going to flip over because so many people were trying to get on.
Oh boy.
And as I looked behind, they were just 10 deep. And that's kind of what gave us the idea.
We decided that this has to get better organized and we better
Let the Coast
do
Guard?
it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did.
So we decided to make the call on the radio. All available boats. This is the United States Coast Guard aboard the pilot boat in New York. Anyone want to help with the evacuation of Lower Manhattan? Report to Governor's Island.
When that call came on the radio, they were coming.
I was uncertain of who was going to respond. About 15, 20 minutes later, there are just boats all across the horizon.
Literally 100 targets converging on the lower part of Manhattan.
When we came out of that dust cloud, tugboats, I'd never seen so many tugboats all at once.
There was just like a fleet of tugboats headed to Manhattan.
If it floated and it could get there, it got there. All different size, shapes, and form. I mean, and they were zooming across this water.
Ferries, private boats, party boats.
I worked on the water for 28 years. I've never seen that many boats come together at one time that fast. One radio call and it just came together just that fast.
Hundreds of boats converged on the city, leaving the sun-bathed harbor behind them. Dead ahead, the unknown.
The real heroes there, bro.
That was something I won't forget. It was just low
low, dark, acrid, black smoke. It's like there was a big chimney in Manhattan.
That had to be frightening.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Pier 11, the dust was unbelievable.
I've heard of like people dying just from the dust alone, the dust cloud alone.
Coming through the fog.
Look at this.
And you knew that those were human beings.
Don't leave us. Please don't leave us here. Take us. At that point, the Coast Guard said, not how many people are you allowed, how many people can you fit?
Come on, guys. Anybody coming? Get your ass over here now. Now. Come on.
Boats started hanging. Literally would take a bed sheet off the bunk and
where we going?
Spray paint and paint their destination on.
They got the Coast Guard shut up.
Some of these people never been in the water, never been on a boat before.
Housewives, workers that do windows. We had executives. And the thing that was the best, everyone helped everyone.
I want you to hold my hand. Come on board. Get inside. One at a time. Get inside.
I saw 4 businessmen lifting up an old woman with a seeing eye dog, a German Shepherd, and they lifted her up like a surfboard and passed her over their handrails.
When we would carry a load of people over, and there was somebody standing there that seen their husband or wife, you know, that made us feel even better, you know. Well, at least we got 2 back together.
That'd be a good feeling, yep, for sure.
The guy that works at the ferry, he's a welder. His son was on my boat. He actually came up. He thanked me.
We went back and forth all day long, carrying boatloads, as many as our boat would hold. And it's a lot of people. A lot of people.
You couldn't have planned nothing to happen that fast, that quick.
No training. This was just people doing what they had to do that day.
You forget all about what you're supposed to do, what they teach you in school, and you say, you know what? Morally, this is the right way to go, and deep down, this is what I'm gonna do.
Average people, they stepped up, and when they needed to, they showed me, you know, when the American people need to come together and pull together, they will do it.
I do feel a way honored that I was a part of it.
That was the greatest thing I ever did with my life.
The greatest day that I've ever seen in all my boating. I mean, my life on the water.
The Great Boat Lift of 9/11 became the largest sea evacuation in history. Larger than the evacuation of Dunkirk in World War II, where 339,000 British and French soldiers were rescued over the course of 9 days. On 9/11, nearly 500,000 civilians were rescued from Manhattan by boat. It took less than 9 hours.
I believe somebody has a little hero in them. You gotta look in. And it's in there. It'll come out. It need to be.
I have one theory in life. I never want to say the word I should have. If I do it and I fail, I tried. If I do it and I succeed, better for me. And I tell my children the same thing. Never go through life saying you should have. If you want to do something, you do it.
Wise man. Wow, what a video, bro. Woo. Oh my goodness. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That got me. That got me.
It started getting me a little bit, but I
Oh my
managed to,
God.
you know.
Listen, proud to be a New Yorker, man. When it's, and it's not just the New Yorker spirit, it's the American spirit. When it's time to step up,
No, absolutely.
we step up, you know.
It's another thing, like just the tri-state area. I know, like everybody from the tri-state area, they bust each other's balls. Like me and you, we'll bust each other's balls. But I know, like, if you're in trouble, I'll come and help you. If I'm in trouble, you'll come and help me. And it's the same thing with New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia.
Oh, listen, I remember being a baseball fan. I'm a huge baseball fan.
So am I.
And being a Yankee fan, not a big fan of Boston Red Sox.
I'm a big Mets fan, and normally I'm a fan of the Boston Red Sox.
But I remember this year, because after what happened, I remember baseball was like a big thing to get people's spirits back up.
Absolutely.
And I remember the game when the Yankees went to play in Boston, and you would never thought you would have seen signs up at Fenway Park saying, "God bless New York" or "We love you, New York." And that was just a great feeling. You know, the idea that we don't. There was more. There was more that was going on. I know that was more. It was bigger than them.
Yeah.
So that was pretty dope. And I remember the patriotism that was going on during the time, and the together like we were together. Like there was what's going on now was definitely not happening back then.
Yeah.
You know, and it was an amazing time to be here. As sad as it was, but the people were really together. And this video is an example of what people were doing back then. You know, to help other people out. And the way they did, you know, they were going into this darkness.
The first responders even, because I remember like when my brother was a volunteer firefighter in Jersey, they were recounting, they were just telling me the stories of how like when 9/11 happened, everybody from Jersey and Philly that were first responders went to 9/11 on ground for to like help out as much as they could.
Yeah, and they came from all over.
Yeah.
You know, that's the Hudson, and there's a lot of, you got Jersey, you got Connecticut, you got a lot of places connected to that, a lot of boats in New York, and it was good to see like that fleet come out after that announcement. That was it gave me goosebumps to see that. You know, what an incredible video and what an incredible day and what an incredible spirit the people of New York during that day, that day of darkness.
Yeah.
You know, to go in when you don't know what's ahead of you.
But it's like that saying, you know, the light shines brightest when it's dark, and the light was the people's unity.
Yeah.
And
they weren't afraid. They weren't afraid to do it. You know, and you know they gave the news that Twin Towers fell. They got the news that the Pentagon attacked.
Yeah.
They got the news that's going on over there in
and there was fear.
So a lot of stuff. And I remember also there was also this fear mongering where people were just saying, "Oh, they're attacking here," like false claims, because it was so crazy that people were just saying things, you know, that people were getting packages with anthrax, or there is a gas attack going on.
I never knew about that.
No, yeah, it's all that. I'm telling you, I was there. Well, not there, but I was living the moment.
Yeah.
And I remember I was glued to the TV looking at all news because, again, it being my hometown.
I like, thankfully during this, I was only like couple months old, I think. I was born in February of that year, so I was only like a couple months old, so I don't remember anything, but I only have the secondhand stories I have from people I know and people I respect and love, so.
Yeah, it was quite chaotic. Well, anyway, guys, I think this is an incredible video.
Absolutely.
BOATLIFT, thanks for whoever it was that recommended. I'm sorry I don't remember the names who recommended us to watch this video. BOATLIFT, an Untold Tale of 9/11 Resilience. I was shocked that Tom Hanks was narrating it.
Yeah, so was I.
I didn't think it was that highly produced, but wow.
Yeah.
What an amazing video. Anyway, guys, we are Our Knights. I'm Ray.
I'm Julien.
Guys, if you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon. Take care.